Money seems simple. Some people have more of it, some people have less. Because of that, many people assume the difference comes from intelligence, effort, discipline, or luck. At first glance, that explanation feels obvious. After all, money is just a tool, a number in a bank account, a way to buy things. But the real answer is far stranger. Because your relationship with money is not built entirely from math, it is built from survival. Every time you spend, save, invest, avoid risk, chase opportunity, or worry about the future, ancient systems inside your brain become involved. And those systems evolved long before money existed. Imagine a world before banks, before salaries, before credit cards, before stock markets, before businesses. For most of human history, your ancestors lived in environments where survival depended on immediate resources. Food spoiled quickly. Shelter required constant maintenance. Danger could appear without warning. There were no retirement accounts, no savings apps, no long-term financial plans. A successful hunt today mattered more than a promise of food next year. This created a powerful psychological tendency. Your brain became highly sensitive to immediate rewards. Researchers call this temporal discounting. In plain English, it means your brain often values rewards available now more than rewards available later. One of the most famous demonstrations came from psychologist Walter Mischel in the famous marshmallow experiments. Children were offered a simple choice: one reward immediately, or a larger reward if they waited. Some waited, many did not. The experiment revealed something important. Humans are naturally pulled toward immediate certainty. Waiting requires effort. Patience requires trust. And trust was not always a safe strategy in unpredictable environments. If your ancestors were uncertain whether resources would still exist tomorrow, taking a guaranteed reward today often made sense. The modern world creates a strange conflict. Many financial decisions reward delayed gratification, saving money, building investments, learning valuable skills, growing a business. These actions often require sacrificing immediate rewards for future benefits. Yet your brain still carries ancient wiring optimized for a different world. Why does buying something feel good? The answer involves dopamine. Dopamine is often misunderstood as a pleasure chemical. In reality, it helps motivate behavior toward rewards. Neuroscientists such as Wolfram Schultz help demonstrate how dopamine responds strongly to anticipated rewards. When you imagine purchasing something exciting, your brain can generate powerful motivation signals. That feeling is not necessarily about the object itself. It is about prediction, possibility, expectation. The anticipation can become more rewarding than ownership. This helps explain why impulse purchases happen so often. The reward arrives immediately. The cost feels distant. And ancient survival systems naturally prioritize immediate opportunities. But spending is only part of the story. Another surprising factor involves scarcity. Researchers such as Sendhil Nathan have studied how scarcity changes decision-making. When resources feel limited, attention narrows. The brain becomes focused on urgent problems. Future planning becomes harder. Long-term thinking becomes more difficult. This effect appears whether the scarce resource is money, time, food, or attention. Imagine two people receiving the same financial advice. One feels secure. The other feels constant financial pressure. The advice may be identical. The results may not. Because the brain experiencing scarcity is solving a different problem. Instead of maximizing future gains, it may be trying to survive the present. This helps explain a common misunderstanding. People often assume financial behavior reflects character, but behavior is frequently shaped by circumstances interacting with psychology. Your environment influences how your brain allocates attention. Stress changes decision-making. Uncertainty changes priorities. Risk changes perception. Then another strange pattern appears. Losses often hurt more than gains feel good. Psychologists Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky helped uncover this principle through prospect theory. Losing $100 typically feels worse than gaining $100 feels good. Why would your brain work this way? Because throughout evolutionary history, losses could be extremely dangerous. Losing food, losing shelter, losing social support, losing resources. The consequences could threaten survival. As a result, your brain often treats losses as emergencies. This ancient bias still influences modern financial behavior. Some people avoid investing because potential losses feel terrifying. Others refuse to sell failing investments because accepting a loss feels painful. Some cling to possessions they rarely use. Others remain trapped in financial habits that no longer help them. The fear of losing often becomes stronger than the desire to gain. But there's another twist. Humans rarely evaluate wealth objectively. Instead, your brain compares. Throughout history, status often influenced access to resources, allies, and opportunities. Being respected within a group could improve survival chances. Being ignored could create risks. Because of this, your brain evolved to monitor social position. Today, that same system often compares income, lifestyles, possessions, careers, and achievements. A person earning more money than ever before may still feel dissatisfied if someone nearby appears wealthier. Meanwhile, another person with fewer resources may feel content if expectations differ. The comparison system is ancient. The objects being compared are modern. This creates endless moving targets. Each achievement can become normal surprisingly quickly. Psychologists call this hedonic adaptation. What once felt extraordinary eventually feels ordinary. The new car becomes normal. The bigger house becomes normal. The higher salary becomes normal. Then, the brain begins searching for the next improvement. This cycle can make financial satisfaction surprisingly difficult to achieve. The destination keeps moving. The goalposts keep shifting, and the ancient brain keeps chasing. Does this mean money does not matter? At all. Financial stability can reduce stress. It can increase options. It can create safety. It can provide freedom. But understanding your brain changes how you think about money. Many financial struggles are not simply mathematical problems. They are psychological problems, interacting with ancient survival systems. The challenge is not fighting your brain. The challenge is understanding it. When you recognize the pull of immediate rewards, delayed gratification becomes easier to understand. When you recognize scarcity effects, financial stress becomes easier to explain. When you recognize loss aversion, investment decisions become easier to analyze. When you recognize social comparison, endless dissatisfaction becomes easier to notice. And something remarkable happens. Money starts looking less like a collection of numbers. It starts looking like a mirror reflecting millions of years of evolutionary history. Every purchase, every saving decision, every financial goal, every moment of temptation, every fear of losing, every desire for more. Ancient survival systems remain involved. Because your brain did not evolve to manage investment portfolios. Your brain evolved to survive uncertainty. And every time you think about money today, those ancient survival instincts are still quietly shaping the choices you make.